Yeah.
Okay, I'm going live approximately now. It says you're live. Hello, everybody.
My
Welcome.
God.
This is our spookiest
Spooky?
possible vibes. Check out the vibes on this stream right now. Just look at
Look
them.
at him. Hold on. Sorry, I'm still on Discord. Because I'm a professional. Oh, those are. Oh, why is that witch?
See,
Just so. Just going.
it was not moving at that speed on Google. Something went wrong somewhere along the line. And that's just what she looks like now.
Alright, cool. Great. I do
Um,
like the. I do like the cat.
like Pusheen.
And the Pusheen. Yeah, it's a good one.
Two people just logged off as soon as we started, so that's good. Um,
Good. Yeah.
they were immediately dissuaded by, I guess, just the way the stream looks, which is fair, I suppose.
They were like, they're talking about my favorite movie, Bewitched. I'll watch it. And then they're like, oh, I know they're gonna make a mockery of my beloved classic, Bewitched.
They saw this and they were like, maybe there is a better way to spend my time than this.
They're not gonna take this art seriously.
Maybe I thought I wanted to hang out with these guys, but now that I'm taking a look at how they present themselves to the world, I'm thinking maybe not anymore.
I would just like to say that it's 100% your fault. I have nothing to do with the gifts here on the live stream. God, whatever.
Can you guys hear the Pikmin music in the background? Just soothing, little
Just
chill ass
nice.
music before we start the show. Anybody? I
Whatever
don't know.
happened to Pusheen? I feel like Pusheen was like the biggest thing
Yeah,
with like girls who liked cute things, but like also mom. It like just like perfectly hit every demographic of
yeah. It
like
was like a crossover hit that was
yeah, it's just like perfectly sellable to like
every
just
demographic
everybody.
basically.
Yeah,
I think that artist just cashed the fuck out.
which is totally fair.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think we're like still doing Pusheen anymore because I don't think that girl is still doing Pusheen anymore. I think
Yeah.
she's just
Well,
like,
it is weird
yeah,
because
I'm just
like
gonna go ahead and make about $1 million and then just peace out for a
and
while.
then just dip and then never have to do anything ever again.
Yeah,
Well, it's because it's weird because like Japan does that. Like in America, when we make like merchandise, that merchandise has to be like attached to something. Like we literally make TV shows just so we can sell toys. Like you have to have a TV show attached to a
right. There
toy,
has
or
to be
else it
some
won't do
content.
as well. But then in Japan, they're just like we just make mascots for things, and if they're cute enough, people just buy them.
Yeah,
Like that's mainly what Hello Kitty was. It was just like that cat's really cute. You want to buy it? And we were all like, yeah, man. And then America was like, oh, we can also make a TV show about this.
right.
But it's just weird which ones like make it over to America because I feel like Pusheen is very much that. I think Pusheen was American based, but
Yeah, no, I
it's
think
the same
Pusheen
good
is an
concept.
American cartoonist, unless I'm
Yeah.
mistaken. Unless she's like Canadian or something.
Yeah, what's the? I can never remember the name of the little egg guy from Japan who's
Oh,
always depressed.
Gudetama.
Yeah, I love him.
Maybe
What
we
the
should.
fuck is up with this sad egg?
Maybe we should have a
Can you find a
mascot.
gif of him to put on the stream?
Yeah, maybe.
His little ass.
Gudetama. You should make a mascot for us, Adeline.
I should. We should make a VTuber. It's just like a little. Okay, wait. So Jackson, what would you have our mascot be? What's our mascot?
um, I don't. Oh, I like this Gudetama gif very much.
That's a good Gudetama. That's a good
A
Gudetama.
Gudetama. There you go.
Is it like the let's all go to the movies gang, but like it's like a computer and he's like, hey,
Wait, why isn't it
podcast.
moving?
Gudetama, how could you do this to us?
It's not moving for some
He,
reason.
he's moving.
He is?
Oh, he stopped moving. He was moving for a second, and as soon as you moved him, he stopped moving.
Oh, maybe that's it. Okay,
Who?
yeah, so he is
What?
moving.
What's happening in that? In that? What's happening to Gudetama? Like,
I don't know. He's just like going on a trip, man.
Is his egg a little boat and it's like going fast?
He's like a spaceship.
Ah. But we can't see his little ass. That's a part of it.
Whenever I manipulate him, he stops moving.
Yeah. Maybe he
Why?
just has to be right there.
Oh no, he just stops after a second. Why does it
Oh.
only play once?
Gudetama is too good a Tom us. Too good for us.
Sure, I'm just gonna get rid of it.
Ah.
So here's the thing, Adeline.
Yes.
Do you think making our streams look this horrible all the time is genuinely damaging to our brand?
I don't know. I think listen, so here's the thing. When we get new art, we'll have an animated thing that like actually moves. So it's
Okay,
only it'll
okay.
only be a problem for a little bit longer, and then we won't have to make a choice anymore.
Okay, fair enough. We'll make it look nicer once we put some effort into making it look
Yeah, yeah.
nicer.
Well, because I really liked our old moving GIF, where it was just like us at the table with like the nerdy things moving around. I genuinely really loved that.
Right.
So I think when I get the new art, I'll just like update the art, and then I'll basically keep all of those things because when they move around, it's really nice. I like it. I like
Nice.
looking at it.
So yeah, just a heads
Yeah,
up, that's next week, by the way.
yeah, I know.
Okay,
It doesn't take that long for me to draw it.
cool. Um, I have a fun thing to talk about. I'm trying to decide if I want to save it for the podcast or not.
Okay, I mean we've been goofing for a little bit. Usually we goof for like 20 minutes, so maybe goofing for 6 minutes would be nice.
Um, don't
God,
know.
see, we can't talk about what we were talking. We have a really good thing of where we make jokes about things that we probably shouldn't make jokes about on the stream first.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know. I won't out us, but it seems
Yeah.
like every single time we're about to stream, we're always just like, okay, we should probably not make jokes about that when we start.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
anything just like terrible. It's just like things that like you would make up. It's like a private joke that like you wouldn't say on a big platform. It's not
yeah.
like you know.
Um, Cade, yeah, if you want to be the one who makes the animated sort of dealio, usually when we get those, we just bug our friends about it, who
Yeah,
don't want to do it until they do.
yeah.
But
We could
if
actually
you,
like commission you to do it
yeah, if
because
you like actually
yeah.
want to do it, we'd be open to that. Well, I mean, look, I don't know about commission. I don't know about you. I can't really be throwing money around right now.
I can commission you.
Okay, all right.
But yeah.
So
No,
just
I did realize I would have to draw a regular one.
so Kane, just
I
DM
have all of
Adeline,
November to
and
draw
you
a
guys can
Christmas
figure
one.
it out. It's not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackson washes his hands of
Yeah,
this.
want nothing to do with this.
God, who? Here's what we got to do before recording the podcast. I need you. So Will Ferrell, and then what is her name? The
Nicole
girl's
Kidman.
name. Nicole Kidman. That's right. That's right.
What
I'm so
about
bad
them?
about actor names because there's 10 billion actors in the world, and there just keeps being more of them. And every time there's a new one, you have to add them, and you can't forget any of them.
But what about them? Why did you bring up their names?
What? Oh, because I knew I was gonna forget her name,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I would be embarrassed. Because I did know the actress's name.
And Jason Schwartzman is the mean agent,
Yeah.
and Kristen Chenoweth is the weird slutty friend,
Yeah.
and
Is stereotype of women number 2.
and I'm trying to remember who else is actually in it. I don't know who the weird sadistic PA is. She's pretty funny though.
I don't. We can talk about it on the podcast. When did they meet? Because I feel like
What?
she just kind of appears, and they're like, "Oh, we're friends
Oh
now."
yeah,
And
I
it's
don't
like,
know. She's just in the posse.
I guess. It was bad. Like, we can like talk about
So
it.
yeah, this is like I don't know if any of you guys watching have seen Nora Ephron's Bewitched. It's like pretty much the worst. It's like it's tricky for me to wrap my brain around how
Like,
insanely
it's
bad this
not.
movie is.
It's like so tongue in cheek, but without being like actually funny, like at all.
Yeah. So okay, we can't keep going because I have a lot of things to say specifically
Yeah.
about like sort of context that I don't want to blow before we actually start.
You gotta keep them. You gotta reel them in first. You know,
Yeah,
can't
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
say
Should
your
I keep
thesis.
should I keep chill ass Nintendo beats to study to on the whole show, or should I stop it once we start the real podcast?
You know, stop at some point. Just be one of those people that you play Overwatch with who just blasts their Spotify playlist while you're trying to play a video game with them.
No, just like chill, like wordless video game music, just like kind of quietly in the background. Take a vote.
I
Hey, chat. What do you
I
think?
think,
Do you like
but
it?
you couldn't do that when we recorded the podcast because it's copyrighted.
It won't be on the recording.
Why not?
What? I mean, it'll be on the stream. It won't be in the final podcast. And also, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, it is copyrighted, but it's not picked up by the YouTube system because it's from video games.
Ah,
So it's chill to use.
is that a thing?
Yeah, because people play video games all the time.
That's fair. I thought that was like a thing where like Nintendo was like cracking down on Let's Players because they were like, you can't be you're showing off our whole video game.
That was like ages ago.
Yeah.
They've kind of learned their lessons since then. And also, that is, with music particularly, Nintendo tends to get a little bit butthurt about people just like uploading music and soundtracks and stuff. But they
Yeah.
don't like copyright claim people like using it in videos or whatever. Just like if you upload
The song.
the Link's Awakening soundtrack.
Yeah. But what else am I going to use for background music in my D&D campaign? What then, Nintendo?
But yeah, and that's a weird thing, particularly because like it's not like you can buy it. It's not like it's on streaming services or whatever.
Yeah. You think I'm going to buy a fucking... Listen, you think I'm going to buy a vinyl of freaking Twilight Princess soundtrack? Maybe.
Well,
Maybe
I would if such a thing existed.
I would, Nintendo, do that! See, I use the Twilight Princess soundtrack a lot in my background music when I DM for D&D. But, like, that playlist is freaking long. There's so many songs in that game.
Okay, I'm going to type in adjective Nintendo music. What kind of Nintendo music do we want?
Animal Crossing. Is that an adjective?
No, I need an adjective.
I listen to this playlist when I'm writing stuff, and it's like, it's just a bunch of Zelda songs, but somebody like put rain sound effects like behind it.
That's fine. I don't think that's the right vibe for the podcast, though.
No, it fucking slaps, though.
How about no thoughts, head empty Nintendo music?
How about Gourmet Race Nintendo?
Fucking hard as hell Nintendo music. Kick ass Nintendo music.
Just play some Kirby music, because Kirby music fucking slaps.
Yeah, I'll just find a Kirby music compilation. That'll be fun. That'll be fun for everybody, I think.
Everybody likes Kirby. He's friend-shaped.
Top 100 Kirby music, a 25th anniversary medley.
Hell yeah. I won't be able to listen to it.
2017 is a special year for one of Nintendo's most beloved franchises.
Our special boy.
There's text on
Kirby
screen saying this.
B. Benson.
Ooh. Disco remix. To celebrate, I've made a special selection of my 100 favorite songs from the series.
Oh,
to make it even more special, the songs segue into each other like a medley. Whoa, this video is like 3 hours long. So
yeah,
grab
I thought
your
they would
headphones
just play
and get
music.
ready. So how do they put in the work to segue and add transitions between 3 hours worth of Kirby songs?
This is their passion project. They've been working on it for years.
Did they just fade?
Probably. I doubt they like link into each other. I bet he just put transitions in between all the songs.
Okay. So then that's going in the background.
You have to tell me when Gourmet Race comes on, though.
Okay, I will. I'll let you know when to make that energy shift. So yeah, this is just for you guys in the stream. This won't be audible on the actual podcast.
So this is completely unrelated to anything, but I just want to talk about it.
Okay.
So me and my friends, we do a Secret Santa every year, and I'm not gonna say who I got because some of them listen. But we were just like going through because the website we use like gives you like recommended things based on your gender and your age and stuff, but they just have a bunch of recommended things. And I was like looking for squishies because like what we used to show the streams, you'd see it. I have a little like cake squishy that I would squish, and I use it when I like play D&D or when I write or when I'm doing something. But so they showed me like one of the recommendeds was this thing. It was just like 30 random squishies for like $15. And god damn it, do I want that so bad. Because my dream of dreams is that it's like the weird off-brand Pokemon little figurines that you can get like 100 of for $5 off of like eBay or Amazon or whatever.
So yeah,
and then
for
they're
the
just
listeners, 1 year for my birthday, Adeline went on eBay and bought a lot of like 200 plastic Pokemon figurines for like $8.
Yeah, and they're always painted wrong, or like Pikachu will have like no ears, or a Charizard tail, or will be painted purple. They're so fucking funny.
Like,
but
I was mostly
really
surprised with them, or like impressed.
I
like,
know last
one
time
out of
because I
every
got
10
you.
was kind of fucked up.
I know I got you one, and they were really funny, and then I got you another one, and they were just like fine, like
right.
They were just kind of like low quality. They weren't like funny and bad and terrible.
They weren't
I was
like
like,
weird
oh.
Chinese knockoffs.
Yeah, exactly. But I hope that's what the squishies are like. I hope they're just like weird and colored wrong and like two different squishies like glued together. That's my dream of dreams.
Okay, are you just about ready to get started? We've been kicking around for a quarter hour or so.
Sure. Let me get up, audition, and also close my bedroom door. Because my mom's gonna come in with Thai food and be like, hey, I got Thai food. And I'll be like, oh my god, I'm streaming.
Get out of my room, Mom!
Get out of my room, Mom. I don't care you have Thai food.
Did you read the sign?
If this door's a rockin', I'm probably recording a podcast.
If this podcast's a rockin', don't bother knocking.
I hate it. Okay, I'm recording. Okay, be right back. Real quick.
So, okay, never mind. I'll wait till you get back to ask this very important question.
Okay, I'm back.
So, in the song, if the house is a rockin', don't bother knocking.
Yeah.
Are they referring to, like, rock and roll, like, we've got a bumpin' party going on in here, so stay out? Or, like, if you're, like, gonna harsh our mellow or whatever, if you're the landlord or something? Yeah. Or is it, if the house is rockin', like, I'm having sex with somebody, so, like my car is, like, rocking. Like, stay out, because I'm having sex right now.
I think it's that second thing. Okay. I hate to break this to you, I think it's that second
But why would that... I mean, I guess it's just hyperbole. Because I wouldn't necessarily rock the whole house, unless you had, like, a very powerful...
Well, Jackson, maybe you're doing it wrong.
Perhaps. Maybe I should be, like, looking up some YouTube tutorials.
Maybe you're iron deficient.
Okay. It's just now occurring to me that this video does have ads in it.
Jackson, we're gonna get in trouble.
We're not gonna get in trouble. That's not how this works.
It's gonna harsh our mellow. The podcasts are rocking. They're ads. Joe Biden, get out of here.
Okay, are you ready to start?
I am ready to start.
Okay. I am recording.
I am also recording.
Okay. LaCroix.
Really?
Tastes.
Really?
Awesome.
When?
You.
Drink.
Dr. Pepper.
After.
Words. Afterwards. I didn't know how to continue the sentence after.
I was gonna say, see, the joke that I was going for, was that it's not funny, but it was LaCroix tastes good after you have sex. That was gonna be the joke, but
no, you were the one who said drink though.
Yeah, LaCroix tastes better. Really, after I don't remember the words that we said.
You said okay, whatever. Um,
You expect me to remember a thing I said less than a minute ago? Are you serious?
Okay, so Adeline, for the intro,
Yeah.
just start off by like being super mean to me.
Okay. You're a jerk. You're a jerk, Jackson.
Ah,
You're such a jerk.
man, I don't like that one bit. I know what I'll do. Oh, wicker, 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 wicker. Oh, back in time. Oh, now you be
Hey,
nice.
Jackson. I think you're a pretty cool dude.
Ah, yes, I love having witchcraft. Hi, my name is Jackson McMurray.
My name is Adeline McMurray. The
And
best
reality
witch.
can be whatever I will it to be now.
Magic is real, but it's just normal.
It's just stupid.
It's just normal.
This is No Nerds Allowed. Hi, how are you?
And then the music comes in.
Yeah. So.
I hate that this movie involves time travel for no reason.
Okay, hold on. I have a different thing to talk about. This is sort of a fun little game that I have planned.
Yeah.
I want you to guess what flavor of LaCroix I brought home yesterday.
Oh my god, is it fucking...
I'm going to give you 3 guesses.
Okay. Coconut.
No. I'll give you a hint. It is not a flavor I guarantee you have ever seen before. I think it's new.
Banana.
No.
Coffee?
Adeline?
Yeah.
You are correct. It is coffee.
Oh no!
LaCroix.
What?
It is LaCroix Coffee Exotica.
Okay, you're like really thirsty and you're like, God, I just want to drink liquid because I'm very thirsty.
Right.
And you think, oh, there's some black coffee here. I'll just drink some black coffee because I'm super thirsty. But then you fucking just drink some black coffee and then you want to die. It's
yeah.
Why would? But so what LaCroix is saying? What if we just poured a bunch of water into coffee? What if we watered down coffee?
That's the thing,
and we're just like, here you go, sir, enjoy.
So here's the thing.
Have some have some fucking cold coffee. I know that's a thing, but not like black coffee. Whatever. Fuck LaCroix.
So okay, so it's not coffee because the ingredients say naturally essenced water. So it's water that they've done some witchcraft to make it taste like coffee. And let me tell you,
coffee ain't natural.
It is also...
You don't find that in nature.
It seems to be a brand crossover with a brand called Nicola, which make a sort of coffee soda drink that they used to sell at the Cirque at CWU that I actually kind of like. Which is basically... It just kind of tastes like black coffee with like a lot of sugar in it, but it's like a soda, and it's like kind of good.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that bad.
And I also like LaCroix, and I like the soda that this flavor of LaCroix is based off of, but believe me when I tell you that this is perhaps the most challenging drink I've ever encountered.
Yeah, because, is it just, did they just water it down a whole bunch? Is that just what it tastes like?
So, okay. What it tastes like is... So first of all, it smells very strongly. Second of all, you drink it and it's sort of like... It just sort of tastes like sparkling water for a second until you get a surprisingly powerful coffee aftertaste.
But that's not what LaCroix do. That's not what LaCroix be.
And like...
LaCroix is supposed to barely taste like anything.
Right. See, and I'm pretty good at talking myself into liking weird drinks.
Yeah, no, you love weird shit.
And I even, like, one of the things I like about, like, lime LaCroix, which is my favorite, is that it's not sweet, right? It's just got like, it doesn't have to be sweet. It's like sparkling water with sort of a bittery, tangy sort of taste to it that I enjoy. So it's not even that it's not, like, strawberry flavored. But somehow, something about this concoction, like is just utterly and completely repellent.
That's like there's that other people keep trying to make coffee flavored sparkling water and they need to stop. Because there's that other sparkling water, I forget the brand name is called, but they do like fusions of two different flavors in their sparkling water, and that's like their whole thing. But they had one that was like coffee and cherries for their fucking sparkling water.
Maybe if they
and
had
it
a
just,
cherry, it would be better.
But it just, but why? Why do you need to do that? I'm looking it up. What's the brand name?
I turned off the music because it was distracting me very badly, and I was having
Yeah,
a
that
hard time
makes sense.
concentrating. um,
What is it? What's the brand? No, don't give me recipes for coffee soda. It's not what I want. Brand.
can I be perfectly honest with you? I decided to start with an unrelated anecdote, but I'm
It's
very
a ha.
eager to get into Bewitched today.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, Ian's right. It is a ha. I just looked it up. But so Kate is over in the chat,
Yeah, just
losing their
describing.
mind about the concept of the film, and let me tell you,
We know.
we we know, we get it.
So, okay. So here's what this movie is. This is Bewitched 2005. It is so there's this TV show from the 60s called Bewitched.
Yeah.
A real life, real world TV show. The concept
Yes.
of which is what if there was a wife who was a witch and a husband who was not, and they have hijinks.
And hijinks ensues, and it's
Yeah.
the 60s, so it's like, you know.
So it's, very, very tame, very medium funny. It's just kind of whatever. And so, okay, one step at a time. Everything's getting blocked up. I'm trying to figure out what to say first.
So there's the TV show Bewitched. We all know it. We know what that is. Mm-hmm. And they're like, all right, so we're going to make a movie out of Bewitched. Right. And you're like, all right. It's going to be the characters that we all know and love from the sitcom, but maybe it'll just be like a longer plot. And it'll be like a movie based on a TV show with the same characters and maybe in a modern setting. And you would be almost right, but mostly wrong.
Yeah.
Because here is the thing. So this takes place in modern 2003 or whatever, and all of the characters from the TV show do exist in this world, but it's the real world where the TV show exists, and they're making a new TV show, but witches are real, and we're making a new TV show of the show Bewitched.
Right. Mm-hmm. So Will Ferrell is playing an actor in the movie who is going to play the role of the husband from Bewitched.
Yeah.
In the remake of Bewitched within the fiction of the remake of Bewitched.
Yeah.
And holy shit, why? Is the only thing I have to say.
It's like, okay, why would that ever be your first thought? Where someone walks up to you and they're like, hey, we want you to make a movie out of Bewitched. For whatever reason. They're like, hey, we're making a movie out of Bewitched. And you're like, oh, I know what to do with that idea. Let me do a fucking 3 layers of references and meta content. Is that what we wanted for the new Bewitched movie? Is that it?
So, for some reason, I guess I just now realized that we've also done adaptation on the show, which is the other major, like, extra meta sort of non-traditional adaptation of a property.
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah, are there any more? We should make a point to do more of these, I think.
Do another one of those.
Yeah, well, if there exists some.
It's because, like, adaptation is good because it is convoluted and meta, but it makes sense and it's a good film. Bewitched, it's just meta, whatever the fuck we're doing aside, just like following the plot of like what we're doing and watching the film like it's a regular film. It's bad. It's real bad.
Okay. So I think we should start with just describing the events of this movie.
Well, I want to vibe check real quick.
Okay.
tongue-in-cheek, meta, like goofy, but at the same time just like painfully not funny,
Yeah, it
like
is
at
very
all.
rarely funny.
Very rarely funny. And like I love Will Ferrell. I think he's hilarious. They make him so not funny in this
Yeah.
movie.
So here's the thing.
It's
Okay.
like
Something I want to say about Will Ferrell. I think this particular era of of Will Ferrell's career is fascinating because this is like post Elf, post Anchorman, post
yeah.
his long historic run on SNL where everybody loves him. Will Ferrell is now like a tried and true household name, and like 2005, 2006 is when Hollywood is like, we are going to do everything we can to commodify Will Ferrell, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying so many different things, and in 2005 and 2006 he has like basically four major movies, which are Bewitched, where Hollywood is like, is Will Ferrell hot maybe, and people were like, no, no, not really, and they're like, okay, and then he makes Talladega Nights with Adam McKay, and people are like,
Yeah.
yeah, we love that, we love Will Ferrell, Adam McKay, he's very funny, this is exactly like teamed up with a director who knows how to use Will Ferrell and knows what is funny about him. um,
Yeah.
then he does Stranger Than Fiction, which is basically, which is a movie I like more than I don't like, but it's not like a classic. Which is like this
Yeah.
weird sort of, it's sort of a Charlie Kaufman ripoff in the sense that it's like this weird story. Will Ferrell plays this like guy who works an office job who suddenly realizes that he can hear the narrator who's narrating his life's
Oh yeah.
story. So then he like goes and meets Dustin Hoffman, who's like a literature professor, and he's like, "What do I do? What happens in stories?" It's kind of good. It's not the best movie ever, but I kind of like it, and Will Ferrell's actually pretty good in it. Um,
It's a really fun movie, I've heard.
yeah,
I've also heard that it's oh, I totally forgot. I've heard people try to say that that's like Will Ferrell's take at being like a serious actor. Like
yeah.
this is his Truman Show kind
Which,
of.
and people liked that movie, and he was really good in it. At least I think. But like, and he's not like completely not funny in that movie, but it's like not a comedy first and foremost. Um,
Yeah.
and that did well, but I've always gotten the vibe that Will Ferrell just doesn't like to do that kind of thing. He
Yeah.
mostly just likes to hang out with Adam McKay and goof around. you know?
Yeah, I do think there's a weird thing in Hollywood, especially with like comedians and comedy actors. It's like, when are you gonna be a real actor? And I don't
Right.
think that's fair. Like, don't get me wrong, Truman Show is amazing and Jim Carrey is amazing in it, but like, that's because Jim Carrey is a crazy person and he wanted to do that because he's like
Right.
artistic and like wanted to do that, so that's why it's amazing. But it's like, if you just want to be a comedy actor, then just be a comedy actor, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it
No,
feels
for
like a
sure.
weird, like, oh, but you have to try to be normal once,
right.
and
Yeah.
maybe it'll be good.
And then he has Blades of Glory, which is that weird like ice skating movie sports parody with John Heder. In that oh so brief period where John Heder, who played Napoleon Dynamite, had like a robust comedy career for like a year and a
Yeah.
half.
Yeah,
Before
what
people
happened to
realized
him?
he just never was really good in anything ever again, and people just kind
Yeah.
of just lost interest. Um, which basically like totally solidified. Like Hollywood like threw everything at the wall with Will Ferrell to see what would stick, and basically they just landed on like, no, I guess he just should only do straightforward comedies pretty much only with Adam McKay from now on, right?
Yeah.
Like everything Will Ferrell does after that is either directed by Adam McKay or like co-written by Adam McKay or like has Adam McKay on as a producer. Like
Yeah.
they become like almost inseparable sort of partners in like their show business careers, which is
Yeah,
fascinating.
totally.
Um and it's also funny because like Will Ferrell also is a credited producer on all of Adam McKay's like more serious movies as of late. So
Yeah.
like Will Ferrell was nominated for Best Picture 2 years ago when Vice was one of the nominees, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. Like because he's a producer on that movie. Anyway,
Well, it's like, what I like, this movie was definitely like, can we make Will Ferrell like cute and like dreamy? And
Yeah,
I would argue that uh, if this wasn't Bewitched, you could make him
I don't
cute
think
and
so.
dreamy.
I don't think
But
Will Ferrell could ever do like just like a handsome romantic lead. I just don't think he has that in
but no,
him.
but he's so cute in Elf when they go on the date and they're like looking at the Christmas
Yeah, that's
trees.
true.
He's so fucking cute in that. And I just argue that whoever is like I said, they make Will Ferrell so not funny and
Right.
not likable in this movie, and like I just think like whoever. And it can't be Will Ferrell's fault because I've seen him and I know that he's funny and I know that he can be charming and I know that he's a good actor, but it's not in this movie. He's not.
Right.
He never is.
And like Will Ferrell requires a pretty specific thing to really work, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's best at playing sort of like outrageously stunted sort of man children, you know,
Yeah.
who like freak out when they don't get their way. That's kind of Will Ferrell's like corner where he's the most comfortable, where he works
Yeah,
the best.
absolutely.
And he's kind of doing that in this movie a little bit, but not fully.
Well, but
Um,
what's so weird about this movie is that I talked about before we started recording. I talked about I was like I can't believe that this movie was directed and written by a woman because it does not feel like it. Like it just he's like this douchebag guy who's like totally taking advantage of this woman and like not letting her speak or have any speaking roles and like she's totally just there to be like his eye candy for him to get stardom, but at the same time she's just a fucking dumbass and all the women are like these like terrible like tropes of like female characters, especially in a comedy. So like he's this huge asshole that like he is like that stunted man child of everybody's just kissing his ass because he used to be a famous actor, and like he totally is that character, but then they like try to like flip it and be like, oh, but isn't he still a good romantic interest? And the answer is no. And it's always no. The whole movie, it's no. There's never any chemistry between them. So
right.
anytime they try to do anything, it just doesn't.
And I was thinking, you
It
know,
doesn't work.
the pathos that they build around Will Ferrell is sort of built around like the stresses of fame and like constantly being under public scrutiny and like the weird work environment of being the lead on a sitcom that's not going well, and everybody's just like kissing your ass constantly and giving you praise constantly, but at the same
Yeah.
time everything is falling to shit around you, and like the weird dissonance of that experience, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, there is something really interesting in that. Like, that is a dynamic and an idea that I'm fascinated by. And I was thinking about it, and I realized that what that was BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
Um, like that, BoJack Horseman is the good version of the ideas at play in this movie, I think.
And BoJack Horseman is the better Bewitched, is what you're saying.
Right.
But it's
Um,
because, like, yeah, like there are moments when like there is like real pathos, and like when he has that moment where she like basically yells at him, and she's like, and he's like, oh, I just needed somebody to not be kissing my ass this whole time. It's
right.
like he has moments where you're like, oh, you like, I understand what you're going through, but then the rest of the time, he's just a huge like character portrayal of an asshole
Right.
all of the time, and it doesn't work because first of all, we start off this movie by Isabel being like, I'm a man, and then the first man that she meets is Will Ferrell, and then she just instantly falls in love with
Okay.
him for the rest of the entire movie.
Look.
Like it's just
Okay, so here's what I
it's
want to do. I think
yeah.
every instant of this movie is so insane and baffling that I
Yeah,
really want to go through it beat by beat.
that's fair.
So we open with Will Ferrell and his asshole agent at somebody's house in negotiations to star in this remake of Bewitched, right?
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell seems totally happy and totally excited to be a part of this, right? He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I love
I
Bewitched."
love Bewitched. I love the show. I'm so happy and excited to be a part of this. My career's not doing so hot, so I bet this would be good for me. And I'm totally ready. Let's make it happen. I've got good creative energy. Let's go. And then his asshole agent or lawyer, I don't know, played by Jason Schwartzman, pulls him aside and is like, "No, you're being a pussy. You need to put your foot down. This is about you. This is about your legacy and your career, and you need to make this about you because that's what's important." So then he
Wait, so hold
does.
on. So the whole thing with Will Ferrell's character is that it's supposed to be like he's a washed up actor who's going into TV, and that's like what it is.
Right.
But they never tell you. So everybody fucking hates him in the world.
Right.
But they never tell you why.
I mean, I just think of it like, imagine if, like, the way people would talk about it if, like, James Franco were suddenly going to be in a multicam sitcom, you know?
Yeah. But everyone doesn't hate James Franco. I'm the only person who hates James Franco, and it's like...
No, Adeline, people are not into James Franco right now.
Okay, good. I don't like James Franco. But it's like, but it's just weird that they never explained it. They're just like, this guy is an actor, and he just did like 3 movies, and then he got divorced, and everybody fucking hates him so goddamn much. And it's like, he starts talking and being a big asshole, you're like, oh, that's why? But that's not why, though. They never tell you why the entire world hates him for some reason.
Right. But anyway, so here's my fan theory that makes this whole thing make sense, okay?
Okay.
I mean, not this whole thing, just this one particular aspect that currently
this one part of it.
So, my theory is that Jason Schwartzman is a witch. And he's casting a spell on Will Ferrell when he tells him to be greedier and make everything about him. Because he's the agent, he gets a cut.
He's riding the coattails.
That's why he has such a weird, abrupt change that lasts for the whole rest of the movie, is because Jason Schwartzman is also a witch. That's my fan theory. That's what I choose to believe.
Because at the end of the movie, Steve Carell is like your agent. He's not even human. So, like, what if he's like a devil?
Wait, does he say that?
Yeah, he says that.
Oh, maybe I'm right, actually. Okay.
Maybe you're right, and maybe this movie's just bad.
No, that would make it good, actually.
Good, but they don't tell you.
So
it's
anyway,
not real.
Will Ferrell goes back into this negotiation. He's like, all right, I want $1 million trillion, and I need this whole thing to be about me. I'm the lead, not the girl. So what I need to do is I need to find an unknown actress to play the lead in Bewitched.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if we cast anybody else who's a star, they'll automatically overshadow me because everyone hates me right now. And it basically doesn't matter who it is. I'll be the second, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. This is what Cade was freaking out about. Is that so they get all of these blonde bimbo actresses, and they're all idiots, and none of them can wiggle their nose for some reason. For some reason, that's a part of it. No actress in all of California who's blonde knows how to wiggle her nose. So Will Ferrell goes to a cafe and sees Isabel, and she like sneezes and wiggles her nose, and he's like, "Oh my fucking god, I found her! The perfect one."
You're jumping ahead because now
I am. We haven't even gotten to her stupid introduction.
Yeah,
I just needed to talk about Will Ferrell's weird nose fetish in this movie.
We cut to Nicole Kidman, right? First of all, okay, first things first. Nicole Kidman, I think, is quite bad in this movie because I straight up, I do not buy Nicole Kidman as just like a coquettish ingenue like this. Like, every other movie that Nicole Kidman has ever been in, she's playing, like, these sort of, like, cold, indifferent, like, sort of... I'm trying to think of a good way to describe, like, the vibe Nicole Kidman gives off. It's a very sort of generally menacing vibe, I guess.
Yeah, no, totally.
I think of Eyes Wide Shut, I think of Paddington, I think of, like, what's it called? The movie where it's the suburbs and the monsters are taking over people.
What?
The Stepford Wives.
Oh.
Like, those feel like Nicole Kidman to me. And, like, a spunky blonde who is dumb does not feel like Nicole Kidman to me.
Oh my god, I can't stress how much of a fucking dumbass she is.
So...
And, like, to be fair... She looks really cute in this movie. She's adorable in this movie. But how adorable she is ruined by just how fucking stupid and irrational and weird she is. Like, not even in, like, a quirky, fun way, just, like, in a doesn't make any fucking sense way. It's the worst.
So,
She's so
see,
stupid.
honestly, I don't even think she looks, like, cute or, like, attractive in, like, a leading lady kind of way. Because, like, her eyes are cold, you know?
There's nothing behind those eyes.
Nicole Kidman has cold eyes. And like maybe if you're in like a Basic Instinct or something like that, like a sexy thriller, like there's something attractive about that. But in this
Yeah.
context, it just feels like the other shoe's about to drop, you know? Something about her like
I would love it.
her like
Is in that
steely
scene?
gaze turns me off.
Yeah, like I would love it if she just fucking snapped. I think that would be something.
So
Like that scene where she drops the lights on the ex-wife and the ex-wife fucking
yeah, it's
dies.
so good.
And then she's like, "Oh, that was too harsh," and she like rewinds it, so she just like gets her wig blown off or whatever.
Yeah, that part's
It's
great.
I would just fucking kill everybody, Nicole. It doesn't matter.
So
This movie's fucking bad.
Nicole Kidman, this is the other part of the story that I think kind of works in the same way that like the Will Ferrell stuff works, like I said before, about like it kind of has something that it's remarking upon, even though it
Yeah.
absolutely never quite makes a definitive statement about it. Which is that like she is a witch and she doesn't want to be a witch anymore, right?
Yeah.
And she's like trying to go and live a human life without magic because she's so sick of like the instant gratification, like having everything she wants all the time. It's not
Yeah.
fulfilling, you know?
Yeah.
And so she like, but like the thing that's interesting about this movie is that it remarks a handful of times about the fact that like she lives, like once she becomes a human, quote unquote, she lives this like insanely privileged, opulent life where she can have whatever she wants. And she's like,
Yeah.
yes, this is it, Americana. This is exactly
Yeah.
what everyday people are like. There's that one line that I think is genuinely really funny where it's like, I've only been living in the human world for a few days, and I'm already a rich and famous television star just like everyone else in the human world. Which I think is funny. And there's like something, it's almost the like, how much could a banana cost? $10 kind of thing? Where it's like, it feels like there's an idea there, you know? Like something to be remarked upon about like wealth and power and like inherent sort of privilege. That it's like.
Yeah, and like how even to escape that privilege is a privilege.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And
well,
like.
It's like. That idea, they talk about it like at the end of the movie, that idea of like being stuck between two worlds where it's like she wants to be normal but she's weird so she can't be normal. Like it's been done 12 billion times, but it's been done 12 billion times because there is something relatable and interesting to say about that. But they don't, because they never really separate the worlds and they never really stop her from using magic. Like she goes the beginning of the movie, she goes a very long time without using magic, and then she has this line that I really like where she's like, I would and I relapse and I use my magic, it won't happen again. Like I like that kind of. I don't know if I want it to like really to like actually be a metaphor for addiction, but I like the idea of like she really struggles not to use it and she has to fight not to use it, because I feel like as soon as she like breaks down the first time and uses it, then she just uses it for the rest of the movie and we don't care about that anymore, you know?
So
she's just a fucking dumbass because we go through her whole. And she, like, rents an apartment. First of all, she uses magic to rent the apartment and to buy all the things that she puts in the apartment. So she commits tax fraud. But she, like, sets up the whole house. But, like, even if you're living, like, the magic world or whatever, you would still know, like, what a fucking chair is and how to build a chair. Like, she's so dumb.
Yeah.
She's so dumb.
And her dad is Michael Caine, right? Michael Caine, who I think is actually kind of good in this movie.
Yeah, he plays a fun character, because he doesn't have to be here all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Michael Caine is just like her old dad, who's just like, yeah, being a witch is fucking awesome. And
yeah, you should be a witch more. And she's like, no, daddy, I have to find a messy man for me to fix up. And it's like, oh my fucking god.
Like, he's just like, the great thing about, I can't do it, Michael Caine. The great thing about the great, master line. The great thing about the great thing
Uh-huh.
about magic is that I can slay as much puss as I want, and there's never any consequences. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's awesome, Michael Caine. You do you.
You
And
do you,
like,
Michael K.
and like, that's just it, right? Like,
Yeah.
the Michael Caine is just like, yeah, magic fucking rules. You should. Magic is super sick, and I like it a lot. And she's like, no, it's bad for you, deeply. There's all. I feel like if you're gonna do Bewitched, there's almost a take about social media in it too, where it's
Yeah, you
like,
could tell that's totally an angle that you could do.
yeah, I wanna do my own Bewitched remake so fucking bad.
I know, 'cause it's a fun concept of you have like one magical person and a non-magical person and like them trying to live a normal life within that and just like all the things that you can do with that. Like it's an interesting concept. Is it the most original? No, but it's fun and you could do creative things with it. Like you could do an addiction angle, you could do a social media angle, you could do tons of stuff with it. And this fucking movie does none of it because they're too
Right.
busy doing meta bullshit.
Yeah. So anyway, so she's talking. She's like, I don't want to use magic. It's my whole thing. So then she's at a
Yeah.
bookstore looking at self help books.
Jackson, you forgot the part where she says she needs a man and she wants a man and
Right.
she needs a messy man for her to clean up and she loves it when they're sweaty.
Well, yeah. Well, that's just part of her like wanting to have a suburban American dream white picket fence life.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and so there's okay. So she's at a bookstore. Will Ferrell is also at a bookstore. They're both looking at self help books.
Yeah,
And
which is actually kind of funny
yeah,
because
and there's one self-help book on the shelf that I laughed really hard at, which was titled "How to Turn Your Divorce into a Diet," which I thought was so funny.
wow.
That's like an A plus Nora Ephron joke in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Look, I just love that he immediately just goes to like the divorced books section.
yeah.
Really good.
Um, so Will Ferrell sees her through the bookshelf when he takes a book out, and Nicole Kidman
Yeah.
sneezes and wiggles her nose, and we just talked about this, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's it," because he's been looking through all these blonde actresses who fucking suck. There's not a single hot blonde
Redeemable
actress in
quality.
LA who can act worth a shit. There's
Yeah.
none of them. Just none of these hot
None of
blonde
them.
actresses in LA can do even a little bit, of
No.
what he
None of them
needs.
know how to read. None of them can wiggle their noses. They're
Right.
all ugly. We don't want them here.
Yeah. Um,
And so
and
then she wiggles her nose, and then Will Ferrell creams in his jeans, and then he's like, "Yo, do you want to be an actress?" And she's like, "I'm in love with you."
right. And then the reason she's so good, the reason she gets the part definitively once he starts showing her off to the producers and stuff, is because she is a real witch in real life. And she doesn't know how to read a script or how a script works or even what television is really because she's so fucking stupid. But
Fucking dumb.
but she oh wait, no, never mind. But Will Ferrell's like, let's just put the scripts away. Let's just do an improv, and they just have a conversation where she thinks that Will Ferrell knows she's a witch, and he's asking her bewitched things, and she's like, no, you need a license to have a poison apple or whatever, and they all think it's just a funny off the cuff improv, and they're like, hired. You're so good. We get it.
Yeah. Conversation. She thinks it's a genuine conversation, so she thinks that Will Ferrell is like flirting with her because she's a fucking dumbass,
Yeah.
and it's just, and she's like, she's so in love with him, and it's not believable because it's Will Ferrell, but it's man-child Will Ferrell, and it's man-child Will Ferrell who hasn't flirted with her at all. She just thinks that he is because she's a dumbass. It's just, it's the worst. It's so bad.
So I'm trying to think. I gotta pull up my notes. I haven't even been going off of notes this whole time.
I know.
So I'm just trying to remember what happens immediately after that. She gets the part, and they
Well,
start doing the show,
and
and
she doesn't have any lines in the whole show.
right, which okay. So yeah. So then basically, there's some other bullshit in there, but
Yeah.
oh, also there's one good joke in this where she's like setting up her house and she's trying to figure out cable. And then a guy shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm here to install your cable." But what he says is, "I'm here to give you cable." And she goes, "No thanks, I've got plenty," and holds up a wire like a cable. Closes the
Oh,
door.
you thought that was funny.
Ah, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good one, if you ask me.
You thought that was a real good goof,
Um,
a real rib tickler,
um.
a real knee buster.
So okay. So they're making the show. Nicole
Yeah,
Kidman is not the star. Will Ferrell's the star, right?
yeah.
And then she overhears Will Ferrell talking to Jason Schwartzman about how, like, oh man, I hope she never catches on that we don't give her a lot of lines because I'm supposed to be the star. And she flips out. And she is so angry having heard him say that. And she says, okay, here's the thing that really, really gets me. What she says to her gal pals right afterwards is, he lied to me. He tricked me. Which is insane because he didn't at all.
He really didn't.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, do you want this part in the show?" And she was like, "Hell yeah, I want this part in the show." And then she got the part in the show.
Yeah.
Like that's
and then the
literally
part,
all
like,
that happened.
Wasn't as good as you thought it was gonna be. And she is like, I have been deceived. This is a betrayal on the deepest level.
It's so weird because it's like there is something to be said of like women not being allowed to talk and being talked over and like being shoved into small roles and being props for men to use. That is totally a take that you can do, especially in like television and having men with fame using women for their own advantage. That is a take that you could do.
Right.
But here's the thing. Will Ferrell will treat her like she's dumb, and me being a feminist and being a woman who's been like talked to like I'm an idiot before, it like strikes home. Like, hey, she's not dumb. But here's the thing. She's a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, she's stupid as fuck.
So when Will Ferrell talks to her like she's stupid, it doesn't come off as he's an asshole. It comes off as, yeah, she's stupid. Right. Like, it doesn't... And then when she gets mad at him, it's not... She gets mad at him for the wrong reasons, too. It's, he lied to me. He didn't lie to you.
Right.
If you want to get mad because, like, oh, I didn't realize that this was just for your gain, and I don't think I'm comfortable with that anymore, and I think you're a jerk. That's fine. But being like, I'm with him, and he lied to my face. It's like, bitch, that's not a scenario at all. You're not in love. I think that you are. It's so dumb.
And so here's how she combats this, right?
Yeah.
She uses her magic to manufacture a scenario in which they're recording a show and she gets to have a single laugh line.
Yeah.
Assumedly working off the premise of this movie, which states that in this entire television program, she, the supposed lead of the show, has not gotten a laugh line even one time. Whatever, fine.
Has not had a single line the entire time.
Well, I mean, she has lines, but presumably she's never gotten to like say a joke before, which is wild. Anyway.
Yeah.
So she uses magic to like manufacture a weird scenario where she says something that's like kind of off the cuff, and the audience loves it, and everyone's like, "Oh, we love her. She's so good." And after she says that one line, Will Ferrell loses his goddamn mind about it.
Yeah.
And like, it's just insane. And
yeah, every single character in this whole film is an insane person. That's the only way that this film functions. Will Ferrell is insane. Nicole Kidman is insane. Every single person who speaks is just fucking insane.
Right. Okay. So here's another thing that I do think is a little bit funny in this movie. I like the way Will Ferrell acts when he's like on the TV show, where he's doing just like the biggest, like least funny possible thing. He like bumps into somebody and falls down and is like, "Oh!" And the audience like cracks up and he's like, "Yeah, come on, you guys, you love me. That was awesome." And it's pretty funny. Like just
it's very funny. That's the only good part where I think like, "Oh, that's Will Ferrell. That's Will Ferrell acting." Is when he's doing the over the top, intentionally stupid acting for like when they're doing the actual sitcom. Like that's great. But the rest of the film really feels like that sometimes.
Right. And then after this, there's that scene where she's at the grocery store and Michael Caine keeps popping up on all the labels on all the food and talking to her.
That's fun.
Pretty
I
good,
like
like
that.
that.
That's
Michael
pretty
Caine's the
good.
Jolly Green Giant, just being like, "You should be a witch again, because then you can get as much dick as you want, and you
Yeah,
don't
but
even have
here's
to
the
work for it."
thing. So she's got her gal pals over. One of her gal pals is like her neighbor, and that's fine. That makes sense. First of all, she's total stereotypical hot blonde, whatever. It doesn't matter. But then she's also got like this like other friend who's like weird
She's like a
and
PA
like
on the TV show.
yeah, we never establish how we meet or why they're friends, but she's just there too, and it doesn't matter. But so here's the thing. So she's at home. Will Ferrell does this interview where he's like, oh, because everyone loves her now. And he does that interview where he's like, oh, actually, I taught her how to do the nose wiggle thing. It's just like him taking more credit from her. And she gets super pissed about it. That's the only part about her getting pissed that, like, is fair. That's the only thing that's, like, even a little bit sane.
But I thought he said, like, I coached her acting because she's an unknown, which was true.
Yeah,
He's
it
just
is.
like,
Yeah, he did teach her how to read a script because
Yeah,
she
he
didn't
did.
understand it.
He did coach her. He did, and she's super mad about the fact that he said so on TV.
Yeah, 'cause this if her character wasn't a fucking dumbass, then this movie would work. Like if she was just a regular intelligent woman and Will Ferrell was always talking to her like she's stupid and always saying that he taught her everything, this movie would have a point and it would be cohesive.
Right.
But the fact that she's portrayed like she's genuinely an idiot for goofs and gaffes doesn't it ruins it. It ruins the point. It just makes Will Ferrell seem like an insane like a sane regular person.
Right. And let's be clear, when you describe it like this, it sounds like the movie's like being mean and being like, "Oh, she's so dumb, look at her." But it's not. It's meant to be like fun and quirky and endearing and like how cute she is that she doesn't understand how soda cans work or whatever.
Yeah, it's like it's weirdly more sexist that way when they think that it's endearing that she's just a total idiot. Anyway. But so then her aunt shows up, and her real life aunt is a character on the original show Bewitched, but is also her real life aunt.
Yes, so Aunt Clara was a character on Bewitched from the 60s. And then in this movie, they're just like, oh, it's Aunt Clara, and they give you like one line where they're just like, oh, what a coincidence. There was also Aunt Clara on Bewitched. Isn't that funny? And you're like, okay, fine. Whatever. Sure. It's just coincidentally. On top of the fact that she's literally a witch and she got cast on Bewitched, she also has an aunt with the exact same description and personality and first name as a character on Bewitched. Yeah! Let's just go with that. It's just a coincidence. Whatever. Fuck it. Who the fuck cares? And so, okay, this is my favorite part of the movie. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Aunt Clara, why won't he be nice? And she's like, I can fucking hex him. I can put a curse on him.
Force him to be nice.
That will make him be nice. And she's like, yeah, I guess. And then she does it, but it goes way too far. And there's a solid, like, 10, 15 minutes of this movie that's just Will Ferrell pitched at a 15. Just, like, being so happy and exuberant.
And, like, giving everybody high fives.
Yeah, just being funny and wholesome. And it's just really funny. And I think what makes it even funnier is that Nicole Kidman reacts to him behaving like a manically insane person. Like it's just funny and charming and like he's so cute. And she's like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Like matches his energy immediately because she's already also insane. It's just...
Yeah, it's really good.
So they're insane together. He's like fucking, oh my god, you're the princess of the Nile, your toes are made of diamonds, marry me. And she's like, I like this. It's just like, it's so weird. But then, so they go on a date, and they like fall in love, and she's like, oh no, I'm doing the thing that I didn't want to do. This is just instant gratification. This isn't real love. And so she's like, okay, I'll rewind to back before I hext him, and I'll, like, try this a different way so I can, like, have real love and not this fake love that I made. And just to be clear, that was not the intent of anything. It was
Right.
they're still not in love, and she thinks that they're in love. They are never in love, like this whole movie until the end. And it's just like, and she like does that part where she like rewinds back before she hexed him, and there's like this sad music, like, oh no, she's erasing all the wonderful times they had. But in
Right.
reality, it's like 3 scenes of Will Ferrell being an insane person and her being like, ha ha, yeah. And then, like, they expect me to be, like, sad that isn't the reality
Right.
anymore.
It's
just,
like,
it's
yeah,
weird.
it's like 10 minutes of Will Ferrell on the brink of an overdose on ecstasy and cocaine.
Yeah.
Like,
you think he's about to, like, kill somebody or, like, cut off his hand for her. Like,
right, yeah. It's almost got sort of like Doki Doki Literature Club vibes.
It really does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's very Doki Doki Literature Club. Where, like,
he's
there's
gonna
that
stab
moment.
himself for her.
There's that moment where, like, he says, like, what it started at kindergarten, which is kind of funny. Like, tell me everything started at kindergarten. And she's like,
Yeah.
well, you know, I didn't go to kindergarten. I was homeschooled. And Will Ferrell gives this reaction. And he goes, I was homeschooled too. Where, like, the reaction he has to that is like he is like painfully and profoundly sad deep inside, while simultaneously like overwhelmed by the purest, most powerful love ever. There's something it's like so frightening about it in a weird way. It's like that reaction is so insane.
You're right, and that scene is very funny because again, it's Will Ferrell being absolutely insane and her just matching his energy and thinking that it's totally normal and good and hot.
Right.
And it's weird. But Keisha just brought up the weirdest thing in the chat. She says that she didn't think she actually had an Aunt Clara. Keisha thought that she was just manifesting the characters through her magic. And that's 12 times more bonkers.
I guess.
That doesn't make any. I don't think that's what it is. And if it is what it is, that's also fucking crazy. That's just.
Okay, so if we are. I guess that makes more sense because Uncle What's His Name shows up and haunts Will Ferrell later. And they don't give you any kind of fucking explanation for that.
Isabel manifesting characters because she's pissed. That's. Why yeah. Strong feelings, fictional characters show up and solve in IRL and solve her IRL problems. Why is that? That's never a thing that they say, and if it is, it shouldn't be.
I mean, I think
but even if that is her weird superpower, and she's so mad at Will Ferrell that she fucking manifests Aunt Clara to fucking put a curse on him. Even if it's the case, and how explain the fucking uncle whatever at the end of the movie. Why is Will Ferrell also a witch and he just doesn't know?
No,
and he's so fucking sad that he just manifests uncle whatever.
No, Nicole Kidman would have also done that. Presumably.
Also manifested him.
Yeah.
Well, but then the whole thing about it being like, oh, it's not magic, it's real love, is a lie because he is magic. I hate this film.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie is so insane. Okay.
It's so bonkers. Because the main theme of the movie is like, it's like magical things do happen without magic, and like love is only best when it's real. Those are like the two main themes that basically only come up once or twice, but they're usually at the end of the movie, so those are the ones that stick, you know?
Right. So, okay. So at this point, she rewinds. She undoes all of the crazy, insane Will Ferrell stuff.
Yes.
And so this is basically the climax of the I don't want to use magic storyline. Because from this point in the movie onward, she just continues to use magic without any second thoughts. And they don't even, like... She never stops using magic after this. They don't
using magic and regretting it. After that, she uses magic with no regrets. Like, how does that...
So they just completely drop that entire thematic idea after this.
Yeah.
But, so she undoes all of it. And so this time she just goes in and Will Ferrell's being an asshole because he sucks.
Yeah,
And
'cause he's a bitch.
and so she just yells at him. She's like, "You suck, and everybody thinks you suck, and we hate you, and your dumb Sherpa movie sucked ass, and you have a tiny dick, and we all wish that you would fucking die." That's what she says.
Yeah,
And
that's line for line.
and then there's this moment where Jason Schwartzman tells her that she's fired, which is like, why is Will Ferrell's agent firing people from the TV show? Whatever.
Yeah. And also, his agent is like an irredeemable asshole the whole movie, and nothing ever happens with him.
Right.
Literally nothing happens.
He's just like this
an
agent
asshole.
of chaos.
He's just an asshole, and then he leaves, and then he shows up again, and he's still an asshole, and then we never see him again.
He's just like the chaotic evil element of this movie.
I guess he does that thing where it's all bad guys are rapists. He like says something about Nicole Kidman's ass in a scene, right. And then he like dances with her friend, and she puts a mustache on him, and then we never see him ever again. It's just that, whatever.
Okay, so if we may digress and maybe calm our tits for a second. Jason Schwartzman says, this is a common phrase, which is, upon remarking upon Nicole Kidman, he says that he wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers, right?
Yeah.
Can we dig into that phrase? Because I still don't understand it.
You don't understand? You won't kick it out for eating crackers? It's like you're already, what I always take it as is you wouldn't, it's like all you have at home, it's like we have food at home when you ask for McDonald's. It's like that. It's like, I have crackers, and I'm content with the crackers. I wouldn't get up because she's better than crackers. That's what I always interpreted it as.
What? No, wait, what?
You would kick her out of bed? I don't know, like, you're eating crackers. I guess, is the person kicking out of bed the one eating the crackers, or are you eating the crackers?
What I always thought was, it's like, oh, we just had sex. Afterwards, we're hanging out in the afterglow, and she pulls out some crackers. Presumably, that would be a faux pas. And if
that'd be a turn off.
Yeah, and if she were unattractive, you would say, hey, get the fuck out of here. Don't eat crackers in my bed. But if she were attractive enough, then you would just let her do it because you don't want to lose her, I guess.
No, but it's like an insult. It's like she's okay. I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers, you know?
Right, but it's saying that, like...
Because eating crackers in bed fucking sucks. So it would be like a compliment. Like, I wouldn't kick you out of bed for eating crackers because you're hot and I love you.
It's meant to be a mild compliment, I think.
Exactly, but
which is to say, you meet the bare minimum for me to not do that mean thing to you, I guess. But it also means that there is a threshold of sexual attractiveness in which you would take them home and have anonymous sex with them, but you would draw the line at
them eating crackers.
At eating food afterwards. There is a window of sexual power in which one of those things is true but the other is not, and that's insane to me.
I still like mine we have food at home version better.
Okay. So Nicole Kidman yells at Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
but then
and then
Will Ferrell is like,
jeans again.
And then Will Ferrell's like, oh, actually I was into that because everybody's been kissing my ass all the time and I need somebody to tell it like it is. Which is a very BoJack Horseman sort of beat.
Yeah, which if that was the plot of the movie, I'm sure I would like it.
Like that beat a lot better than if it were just this, not just this weird movie. But it's just
this weird random beat in the middle of the movie that we don't really set up or pay off. It's just...
So then after that, instantly all the problems are fixed.
Which this show is amazing. They're in love. They make out on set in front of 1,000 people. It's just...
And like, okay, I saw a take when I was scrolling through Letterboxd today, which was that represents sort of like this, like a female power fantasy in the sense that you can like lose your temper and get mad and yell at somebody and have it actually solve all your problems, you know? Which is like, maybe that's something. Maybe in a better movie, I would accept that.
But that doesn't make sense in the context of the rest of the things that we're doing in the
Yeah.
movie.
So anyway, um, and so okay, so they have successfully, uh, so at this point they have sort of come together and now split apart and then come together again and now.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
But now,
they've split. So they came together. They split apart. They came together again when she put a curse on him. Then they split up when she went back in time, and then she yelled at
yeah.
him, and now they're back together again, and now they're actually romantically involved, right?
Yeah, this is the first time that they're actually genuinely romantically involved.
Right. Because now the show's good, and they have this relationship where they could be honest with each other. So like
Yeah.
everything's sort of falling into place. Sure, fine, whatever. What is this
Yeah.
movie even about anymore?
Yeah,
We're like halfway
there's
through it.
also
Whatever.
there's there's also that theme of like honesty that only comes in at the end of the movie when she tells him that she's a witch, where it's like he's like, you're the only one that's ever been honest with me. Like that's into their BoJack Horseman plot line, but we don't fucking do anything with it.
Right.
It's just we don't fucking do anything with it.
And
I
it's
like to
like, okay.
imagine that the way that this Bewitched movie got written is that there were 3 different interns, all of which had different scripts for Bewitched movies, and they all ran into each other romantic comedy style, and like all the different sheets
All
of the script got
their
mixed up,
pages
and
got
then they
shuffled
just
together.
and then they just made one big stack and turned it in, and
Right.
that's how they got the script.
Okay, and so this movie has a take on the romantic comedy third act reveal where everything falls apart, babe, wait scene. Which
Yeah.
is that you set up the big secret at the beginning and then make the entire fucking movie about 1,000 other things so that you
Yeah.
completely forget that it's even an issue by the time it comes back up, which is what
Yeah,
this
and
movie
so
does.
when they have the big fight, and it's like, babe, wait, it's like, what are we fucking even fighting about?
it's like
What are we even
it's
doing?
like the third discrete line of conflict in this movie that's just now
And they
coming up
break up
for the
again.
first time in the final like 25 minutes of the movie, and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
fine, I guess,
it's like
whatever.
we don't fucking have time for another conflict. Bewitched,
And
we just don't.
so now they're in love and they're at a party, and he's like, oh, check it out. And she's like, hey, I finally feel empowered to tell you that I'm actually a witch for real in real life. And there's this sequence where she keeps doing all these magic tricks, and he's like, that was incredible. How did you do that? I didn't know you were a magician. And she's like,
Yeah,
no, yeah, I'm for real, which I think is like kind of something. It's a little bit fun where he like just thinks it's
yeah,
like magic tricks. You're like, yeah, sure. Um, and okay, so a moment that I do think is funny is when she finally like pulls out the broom and like he's grabbing onto it and he like makes her or she like makes him fly up in the air and then she comes back and then he comes back down and he like sits there for a second and then he just starts like screaming at the top of his lungs. I think it's kind of funny.
yeah.
I thought that was a
Well,
good
it's
bit.
like his reaction just it doesn't make any fucking sense. The whole it just because he's like I don't know. I just don't get why. Because in this universe, they never establish what the relationship is between like witches and mortals, or like what's the legacy. Like when people in this world think of witches, what do they think of? Because like when we think of witches, we think of like, oh, like a witch, haha. And especially when they've told you the context of what they think about witches, and it is Bewitched the TV show, which is a very positive interpretation of like a witch. So when she's like, hey, I'm a witch, and he's immediately like horrified and disgusted, and it's like, are you even human? It's like, why are you reacting like this?
Okay,
Like,
okay,
because
okay.
if
What?
his reaction wasn't like, oh my god, am I pregnant? Are you a frog person? If it wasn't that, if it was like, hey, was our whole relationship even real because you're a witch and you've done things to me? And she's like, yeah, I have done things to you. And he was just like more genuinely upset and he felt genuinely lied to. That would be a good babe wait. But instead, it's just like, you're a witch?
Okay,
Ew,
I
what's
mean,
up with
I
that?
get what you're saying that there is like a better and more interesting way to handle that beat,
Yeah.
this you're implying that like in the fiction of this movie, the culture of the hypothetical humans portray witches a certain way. This is what they must think of them. But it's just the world. And if you met somebody and they started flying around and doing real for real magic shit, you'd be very freaked out, Adeline.
A frog person, and that I was gonna get pregnant if I was
Okay,
a
that is a
man.
comedy bit. It's an
And I wouldn't start
exaggeration.
screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm just saying the movie's trying to have like a serious beat where they like actually for real IRL break up. But it don't hit. It ain't good. They could have done it better.
So then they're broken up, right? They've
They're
officially
broke for
split
the
up for
fifth
the third
time.
time in this movie.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Um, and so Will Ferrell's having this existential crisis. They're about to replace her on the show. And
That's again another scene. So we get all the hot bimbo blonde actresses of LA back. And this time they all think that Jack is just the hottest person on the planet, and they're all like yelling at him and trying to touch him. And then they do, the cast scene again. And guess what? They're all still idiots who don't know how to read, and they're
right.
all ugly. We do it again, a second time.
And so at this point, that is when Steve Carell shows up as
Yeah,
as
his uncle
Uncle
whatever.
Whatever. This time, a literal character from the television show Bewitched
Yeah,
showing up
not
in the real world, but this time, like I said, without any explanation whatsoever. Like,
not
not
even being
even a
like
lazy, stupid explanation.
not even like, oh, I'm actually her uncle in real life, and like, oh, it's a funny coincidence again. It's not even that. He's just like, yo, what's up? I'm the character. Do you want to drive and get in a car accident? And Will Ferrell's like, for love, and then they do.
So yeah, and then he goes on this weird little Ghost of Christmas Present journey with Steve
Yeah,
Carell, which okay, so I really miss crazy goofy Steve Carell. He's on a big drama kick right now,
he is.
and like not I mean he did Space Force, but like I miss like this Steve Carell where he
Yeah,
could do
I
like
heard.
weird voices and just be insane and have it be funny because he's
Yeah,
funny. Like even in this,
he
I
is.
think
Steve
he's
Carell is funny.
he's just a funny guy. I don't know. He's a charismatic screen presence when he's just being like pitched at a 10, you know?
Well, and it's like, oh, I was gonna say, I heard Space Force was not very good,
Yeah.
but it's just like, yeah, it just feels like Steve Carell. I've heard a lot of his more dramatic things have actually been doing very well. I think
Yeah.
it is something he genuinely likes, but I feel like it's another time where it's like we took a comedy actor and we're like, all right, you have to do something serious
Yeah.
now, and he like genuinely enjoys it. But like, just another time we did that as a society.
Right, yeah. It's like, I don't know. I guess he hasn't like been like in a big broad comedy since like Dinner for Schmucks, I feel like
Yeah.
after The Office ended, he's either doing like straight ahead dramas or like, very sort of like tight-lipped sort of subtle comedies like Space Force,
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I just want him to go big again. I mean, he goes pretty big in The Big Short, which is still like a drama movie, but he's doing a lot and he's very loud in it, which is fun. But like, I don't know. I want him to like make a funny face again,
Yeah.
I miss when Steve Carell made funny faces.
But it's funny because I was just watching The Office and I was watching it with Dad, and like Steve Carell like did like some joke where it's like he did like some like sexual harassment thing, and Dad was like, I was surprised when Dad when he was like, it's hard to laugh at some of these jokes now, and because it's like this is just talking about The Office, but in general it's just like, oh, this was like a goof back in the 2000s, back when we were like, the 2000s was a weird time where we were really starting to talk about things, but we weren't quite sure how to have the conversation first. And I think Bewitched really does have that 2000s vibe of like, we we want to talk about feminism, but we're not quite sure how to do it or if anybody really wants to. Like, we'll make a
Right.
joke that her character on the show should be a CEO of a company instead of just being a stay-at-home wife. And it's like, it's kind of a joke, and it's kind of like supposed to be like actual feminism. Like, we just don't know how to talk about the things that we want to talk
Right.
about.
And I think The Office specifically, even, I mean, sort of The Office's like edgiest stuff sort of was in like the first season.
Yeah.
Like as the show went on, they sort of like dulled the edge of like Michael being racist without caring or
Yeah.
knowing about it. But
I mean, and the point of The Office also was that Michael Scott was always not the villain, but he was always in the wrong.
yeah,
And that was it's kind of poking fun at the idea of the boss who is always racist
right.
and mildly sexist, but like in way he's just like willfully ignorant
Yeah.
about all these things. So it's like it's a very specific character, and it's a very hard line to toe, and I think The Office does it really well, but there are
Yeah.
a lot of ways that they could have done it really poorly.
Well, what I was gonna say was
Mhm.
that like I feel like there is a certain, like, obviously as time goes on, there are certain things that that obviously we get better at, and the things that we as a society feel comfortable satirizing is sort
Mhm.
of a direct result of like how good we're doing. And
Mhm.
like I feel like we've gotten, and a big part of that is also about like who's telling the story as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think a lot about Blazing Saddles, because that was a movie written by a Jewish man and a black man that has like tons of like un PC jokes about race and you know like very very like offensive quote unquote things in it. But the reality is that all of those jokes are poking fun at really specific things and are making specific salient points with the jokes.
Mhm.
But when you watch it, there's still that sort of like knee jerk reaction just because of the vibe of white guy in a 70s movie saying the N-word. I
Yeah.
think that The Office sort of behaves in the same way, where it's like when you look at this and think it through, this is very intelligent and perfectly acceptable to do. Like they're being
Mhm.
very clear about what they're doing, but still like just the sort of like optics of this was 2005
Mhm.
make you just
Yes.
instinctively recoil. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of people because Friends definitely has come back into the public eye a lot. People talking about the way it is kind of a symptom of cancel culture. I feel like with Friends, and people being like, "Oh, actually, Friends was horrible," and I don't think that's fair to say. I think Friends is very much of its time, and for its time, it was doing pretty good. Like to
Yeah,
say
sure.
that to say that Ross is problematic and an asshole is totally fine, and to say that all of the gender politics is good would be wrong. But like they had a lesbian couple and they like portrayed it as like all right and good. Like for
Right.
certain issues they do handle very well, and especially very well for the 90s. Like
Right.
honestly the worst thing about Friends is definitely Ross and his freaking incel nature and also like the fat phobia. Like those are two things that like Friends really completely drops the ball on. But there are other things that like I'm surprised that Friends handles very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I get what you're talking about, because like the take that's like I can't even watch Friends. It's so bad. I can't even handle it. I can't even stomach it. Is like
Yeah.
maybe you feel that way, but like the fact that you're
I just
posting
think
that on Twitter is just exhausting. Like who
yeah,
cares?
I just think it's not an
Like
unfair take. Cuz like I enjoy watching Friends cuz I like the character and it's funny and I don't know, I like I like dynamics of having men and women both being a part of the comedy. Like I don't know,
that's
I
true.
find that really nice.
Yeah.
Like I feel like with especially like with Seinfeld, it is very much male dominated and like the jokes about women are very specific. I like it when the cast can be very equal and it feels like we're paying attention to like quote unquote male jokes and female jokes in like the same amount.
Yeah. Hey, I'm probably gonna cut all this out of the podcast because I don't think
It's
It's not. I just don't think it's relevant. I don't think anybody cares.
No, I think it's relevant because I think, especially because this movie was 2005, and I think you can totally see that. Like I said, you can see the elements of like, oh, this is 2005 gender politics, where it's still really bad because we have all the hot bimbo actresses that don't know how to read.
Right.
But also we're gonna make like even all her friends and even her like friend who's like works at the studio, she does kind of come off as like that like man hater feminism kind of feminist character, you know?
Right.
And like the fact that she's the one who's like she should be the CEO of a company too. It's just like it totally comes off as like 2005. We we want to talk about feminism, but also we're just being very sexist about it at the same time.
Right. So then they just get married, I
They
think.
just get back together. But so they stop doing the TV show, but then they get married and they live in the actual house from the TV show
Right.
with the actual neighbors from the TV show.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the movie ends.
Which is insane. Okay. So everybody in the world of this movie is obsessed with Bewitched.
Yeah, which is not fair.
Which is
to
so
say.
weird. Like every time somebody's like, "Yeah, I'm going to be in this TV show, the reboot of Bewitched," they're like, "Oh my god, Bewitched? I watched that as a kid. I watched that every single day. That was foundational to me. The what's her name with the nose wiggle? Oh my god, it's so nostalgic." And like,
Yeah.
and you know, it's a generational thing for certain. Like,
Yeah.
we are not the people in the target audience of Bewitched. Okay, Adeline, are mom and dad around?
Not right now, no.
Where are they?
Dad's at work and mom is at Home Depot.
Okay, I'm gonna call mom.
She's gonna be ordering Thai food and be driving and be mad at you.
Okay, I'm just gonna see. Hold on. I'm calling mom.
This just in, live on podcast.
Hello?
Boy's mother
Hey,
does
Mom.
not pick up phone.
So
Hold on a second. I gotta change my speaker and I gotta drive.
okay, sorry.
Mom just pulled into the driveway.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I can hear you too. Okay, hi.
So, mom, just a heads up, you're live on the podcast. We have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Did you
Okay.
how did you ever do you have any experience with the television show Bewitched?
I vaguely remember it when I was a kid, you know, because I didn't have a television.
Oh, that's right.
Forget that part?
Yeah.
But I do remember being aware of it and like, you know, it would still be a rerun when it would be old when I was a kid.
Right.
I remember seeing it at times. Yes.
Because we're talking about the 2005 Will Ferrell Bewitched.
Okay.
And in that movie, every single time somebody speaks about the television show Bewitched to somebody, they talk about Bewitched like it's this cultural juggernaut that like everybody remembers and is so nostalgic for. Do you have any comment on that? How much did you feel the presence of Bewitched as a person soundly in the demographic that this movie was pitched towards?
I believe it was. I mean, I think in its heyday, it was very popular, and I think it was a big deal. There was like, I even remember there being like, I mean, this, of course, this again, I was not alive when it was out for, like, when was it actually on TV?
Well, it was
like
in the 60s, but the people in this movie are your age. It's Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman. Speaking about
In 2005.
So I'm very aware of it. Like it was a show that, I mean, we used to pretend that we were the characters, you know, like it was something I remember being very aware of when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe it had a bigger footprint than we realized.
It's like when you're playing Cheers on the playground.
There's also a lot of drama about Darren, the actor, getting replaced or something.
Right, yeah, he did get replaced halfway through the show.
So that was even still a thing, you know, we were still talking about that.
Right.
There was a lot.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, Mom.
Okay, well, alright. I guess we just ate crow on that one. People were pretty
Alright, so
into
Bewitched. Relevant.
Gen X adults pretty into Bewitched, it turns out. Okay, fine.
Bewitched, pretty into it. Pretty cool.
Our
Mother didn't have a TV. Pretty into it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. So is that what happens? They stop, they decide to not do the show anymore?
They never say that. They say, we're gonna make a TV show, and then we'll get married. And then the last scene is them moving into the actual IRL house from the TV show.
Right.
That's it.
Just another blurring of the lines between fiction and reality.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? I like to imagine, here's my ruined childhood theory.
Okay.
I think that Isabel, Belonga, whatever her name is she's actually a mental patient in a hospital, and the only thing that's on her TV all day long is Bewitched.
Right.
So she creates this escapism fantasy, where so it's like the human world is like real life, and the witch world is the mental hospital.
Can I tell you the God's honest truth? I think this might be literally the only movie where that would feel like a satisfying twist.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, actually, she's just an insane mental patient who's just like only been watching Bewitched for years.
Like if there was like an extra, like it wouldn't just be the final moment, but if there were like an extra like 15 or 20 minutes tacked on to the end of this movie where she woke up in an insane asylum and was like, oh no, how long have I been out? And like Bewitched was on the TV, and then she like 10 Cloverfield Lane style like breaks out of the hospital and goes out into the world and there's like aliens everywhere or some shit. I'd be like, that kind of makes sense. I kind of buy that.
And like her husband is like abusive and he's Will Ferrell.
Right.
And that's why so when she breaks out of the hospital, she kills IRL her husband, Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And then because women fantasy or whatever.
Do you see what I'm talking about though? Like,
yeah.
If they planted like one or two more clues than already existed in this movie,
well, and more than the fact
they made a big deal out of it at the end, I would be 100% on board with that idea.
And then it's actually Bewitched Cloverfield Bewitched.
Yeah, God damn it, I want to make a list of like every movie that is in my head canon part of the Cloverfield cinematic universe.
It Bewitched is one.
Because that's what's cool about that is you can say that about whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Finding Nemo is part of it.
You know what I think about a lot?
What?
There was, when I was in one of my production classes at CWU, there was, this was like our third quarter making movies, and there was this group who was making a movie. It was like this big, like quarter-long project that we were trying to do, and it was like people who are still really new at filmmaking, and like we had like a really short time frame to produce a pretty long thing, and it was like stressful, and like we spent like 3 weeks like just, there were two different groups and we were like tearing apart each other's movies, like not in a mean way, just in the sense that like both of the movies were like not fucking working, and we were like wrestling so hard in editing, trying to just like
make it work.
Make it work, like just manhandling this footage, trying everything we possibly can to make this not feel like this insane student film, and the other group at the last second, because the acting is all weird because we didn't really know how to direct actors yet, and the staging is weird, and the dialogue is weird, and everything about it just feels weird. And at the last second, the two editors in this group just went in and added weird ass fucking sound effects and like spliced in like little frames of like people in plague masks and stuff. And like, it's like a totally regular movie about like a girl who cheats on her homework or something. But they just added in all of this insane, crazy, freaky, weird stuff into it just ex post facto just put it in there. And it
Yeah.
worked so well. It suddenly made the whole thing come together, just like this weird knee-jerk impulse idea. And I think about that all the fucking time. And, like, that is what this movie needs. It needs
Yeah.
to have, like, pictures
I
of, like,
need, like,
rotting
just,
flesh
like,
spliced in every once in a
yeah,
while.
I
And,
just
like,
need just like one frame of like every time she uses her magic, just like one frame every like few seconds of just her like screaming and tearing her hair out and trying to take off a
Right.
straitjacket. Like that's just
yeah, exactly. That would make this movie work, I think. Straight up.
God.
And I feel so that's like a weird embarrassment for me where it's like the two groups were like both sort of on equal footing the whole quarter, like we're just tearing our hair out being like god these fucking suck so bad. And then
Yeah.
at the last second this other group just had this galaxy brain idea
Just
and
went,
fucking
"Fuck
nailed it. And then we were just left in the dust like oh no, what? And our movie just ended up sucking,
Yeah.
and theirs was like weird but cool.
Hey Jackson, do you think that you could take that one scene where she fucking kills the ex-wife and just edit it so that
Like
it's
that?
freaky and weird and there's like 12 different color filters on it?
God, that
And
might.
like when she uses her magic, like frames splice in and you like the like static sound effect and screaming. Do you think you could do that for me?
I think I might do that because that sounds really good. Okay. Yeah, Keisha says that's just the Lego movie. Yeah, who cares though? Because the Lego movie works and is good. So.
The Lego movie is just proof that this is a good idea.
Keisha, I'm glad that Keisha isn't on the podcast full time yet because we'd just be getting in a fight right now.
About the Lego movie.
No, about Bewitched because she said she still stands by that Aunt Clara is just a manifestation of her magic. It is the Aunt Clara from the TV show. Whatever. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
But then why does she? They like have conversations and interact and touch each other, and she like it's no.
No, it doesn't make sense, Keisha. You're wrong. You've been outvoted.
It makes sense. It's a bad movie. Stop trying to defend. It's just bad and it doesn't make any sense.
So just final thoughts. This is like literally like a top 10 movie that I just don't understand. It is like one of the most bonkers insane movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, like I don't understand. I don't get everybody involved. I feel like is not doing what they usually do, but like in the weird worst way possible. Like Nicole Kidman isn't being Nicole Kidman. Will Ferrell isn't being Will Ferrell. Like Nora Ephron isn't being Nora Ephron. It's just like what's happening? I thought I knew you, but I guess I don't.
Right.
I can't believe you would lie to me like this. You completely lied to me.
I know we don't have a lot of people in the chat, but if there's anybody who knows of another movie that's like a weird galaxy brain adaptation of a source material that takes a weird like meta stance on it, you should let us know because I feel like now we've backed ourselves into this corner of like doing as many
This
as
is
we
what
can.
we talk about. But Jackson, Adventure Time is just Finn is in the hospital in a coma.
No. That's not what I'm talking
Jake
about.
is his dog, and BMO is the heart rate monitor machine, and fucking Princess Bubblegum is fucking a cloud, and Marceline is fucking a different cloud.
The hot nurse.
And it's the hot nurse, and Lumpy Space Princess is his pillow.
Is that confirmed? Because that seems like the kind of thing that will be confirmed.
No, it's not confirmed.
Okay.
Dude, last time that I watched Adventure Time, I stopped watching Adventure Time because it was getting too weird and I was too young to understand what was happening. I can't, they did, no, that's not canon anymore because they went places.
Right.
They did things.
Okay, so Adeline, would you like to hear a 5-star review of Bewitched?
Fine, because what the fuck would that even be?
Okay. So this person on letterboxd.com says, I've just taken a quick peek at this person. This person's definitely a dude.
Okay, cool.
He says, I genuinely like this movie, but I'm not gonna lie, Will Ferrell's character was terrible. entitled, childish, misogynistic ass. I hated him, and I wanted him to end up miserable. I'm mad that he got his happy ending like that. Isabel deserved better, and in my headcanon, they split shortly after the ending, and Isabel finds someone who could actually appreciate her. But the movie was good, and I'm not going to let that one asshole ruin my rating, because the women in this film? Iconic. 5 stars, perfect score.
What women? There are a lot of female characters. None of them are important. They're not important though. God, my name is Alan McMurray.
My name is Jackson McMurray. You gotta react to these. I can't.
I did react to it.
Okay.
I am reeling from what this man thinks. Yes, queen, you fucking slept with that guy's shitty agent and said something about how she should have a job and slept with her dad and our Aunt Clara from
That's
the TV
right.
show.
One of the
IRL.
actresses on the TV show who's playing a witch is actually a witch in real life also. We totally forgot to even talk about that.
It's because it doesn't make any sense and it ruins everything thematically and doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But she's also an actress playing her mom and isn't actually her mom because maybe her mom's dead. But then the actress playing her mom in the show ends up with her dad IRL, so she's kind of actually her mom. It's fucking stupid.
So I kind of have a take about that when it comes to like the class, like Marxist lens looking at this movie in the sense that it's like, oh, in Hollywood there's a lot of witches because they just sort of represent people who have.
They represent the Jewish people.
No. They represent
over Hollywood.
Represent just people who were born into wealth and have more money than they ever need to, and it's just like so much more likely that you can end up in Hollywood being an actor if you're just independently wealthy already. Anyway.
See, that's good. That's a good take.
But that's also not what this movie's talking about. That would be an element of my Bewitched movie, which I want to make so fucking bad.
But then the Bewitched movie that's about like privilege and wealth and also social media and how like the privilege of being able to be like, I don't want to be privileged anymore.
Yeah. I don't think I would
people.
double down on social media. I think that would be one too many things, frankly.
I think that it would that would be, you would edit that out. That would be like a first draft idea that you would edit out, and that this movie would slap on top in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we already said the outro. Maybe I'll tack this on the end. I don't know, or maybe I'll put it in earlier. Whatever. The podcast's over. Hey, chat. Thanks for hanging out. We like when we have an audience. It's cool.
It's fun. We like when we do it good.
Yeah.
when we stream and the people watch the stream.
Yeah,
that's
people
good.
are there. That's the good stuff. That's the real good stuff.
I love when the void stares back.
Keisha? Okay, so just mark your calendar. Eventually we're going to have a big fight with Keisha about Bewitched.
About specifically and only about Aunt Clara.
Yeah.
See, the only thing that this movie does is that it makes me want to go watch the 1960s Bewitched. That's the only thing that this movie does.
Yeah, it seems like it might be kind of fun. I don't know.
And maybe that's the point of it. Then I'm like, I just want to watch something that fucking makes sense.
That's the thing about like old 60 or like old black and white sitcoms is like they're either like actually really surprisingly like way funnier than you thought they were going to be, or they're just like so tremendously boring you can't even imagine why anybody ever liked this.
Yeah. Because I freaking love the Dick Van Dyke Show. I think it's hilarious.
Dick Van Dyke Show slaps.
The Dick Van Dyke Show slaps. And, like, especially for the 60s, they were, like, doing shit. Like, they let Laura wear pants. They, like, had jokes that involved black people that weren't crazy racist. It's like, they were doing stuff on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
But yeah, then you watch, like, the Andy Griffith Show, and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh my god. Oh, little Johnny met the homeless man who's just really lazy and doesn't want to get a job. That's an actual episode of the Andy Griffith Show.
Leave it to Beaver. Just like, oh, did you kill a burr with your slingshot again? Yeah.
What's the one with the guy who's in the army that's an idiot?
Is that not the Andy Griffith Show?
No, that's Andy Griffith shows he's the policeman of the town.
Oh.
What's the
Are you
one with
thinking
the
of the
policeman?
comic strip Beetle Bailey?
No, 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 no. It's a TV show. He's like, it's what Fry's dad is a parody of in
Right. Yeah, I think
Futurama.
I know what you're talking about. It's like one of those like pop culture polls when you're talking about like a guy with a goofy voice.
Yeah,
It's fucking
that show, whatever it's called. It's not good. Or like Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes is good.
I don't know how I feel about Hogan's Heroes.
Old TV show. Silly voice.
Army.
Military. Not MASH.
No. Maybe MASH.
I feel like it was a poll that Bill Cosby used a lot.
What?
Like Bill Cosby liked to name drop that. Fuck. What? Now I'm gonna die.
It's the one, and he's like dumb, and the sergeant's always yelling his name whenever he does something
Yeah.
bad and goofy, and he's like, "What's up, Sarge?
Military
What's his
sitcom.
I can't. Where's Dad? I'll go ask Dad. Dad knows. Dad watches Hogan's Heroes.
Gomer
Dad will
Pyle.
know.
Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
No, that's it. Cause he goes Gomer.
Right, but I don't think Bill Cosby said Gomer Pyle a lot.
Probably not.
What did Bill Cosby say a lot?
Pudding pop. Jello.
Okay.
Brown sweater.
Down sweater.
Brown sweater.
Oh,
Because
brown
he wore that
sweater.
sweater. He wore
Okay,
that
anyway.
sweater a lot.
Thanks for fuck. I didn't do the plugging at the end.
You gotta literally write a little script that you'll just say.
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna start recording again, and I'm gonna put it in before the end of the.
Oh, I never
podcast.
stopped recording, so we're good.
Yeah, go ahead and stop. You don't need to be here for this. I'm gonna, unless you want to.
Oh,
Would you
what?
like to be?
Oh, what if I want to be funny?
Okay, so we'll just start it again. Just
Yeah,
tack it on to the end of your recording.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
You ready?
stop. Sure.
Okay, I am recording.
I am also recording.
Okay, rapid fire. Pusheen
Fucking
died.
a lot
Okay, cool.
in Vietnam. Anyway.
So hey, we're just about at the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for listening so much. And if you're listening on YouTube, whether you're watching the stream right now or you are watching the playback of the stream, this is embarrassing because you just saw that whole thing anyway.
Anyway, no, you didn't.
Go ahead and give a like and subscribe if you would. I know like and subscribe feels gross to hear, but the truth is,
we're close to 200 subscribers, and that's weird.
We're getting up there on 200 subscribers, and they're pretty much all from my Dark Side of the Moon video. But,
yeah, that's fair.
And, that audience doesn't necessarily trickle down into the podcast very often. So the more you engage with these podcast episodes on YouTube, the more, they might get shown to people, might draw people's attention. Just saying. Yeah. And if you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and, subscribe if you're not. I don't know why you'd be listening to this particular podcast if you weren't subscribed. But, and if you would, please leave a review. Because that's one of those things that helps in the algorithm. We get recommended to people more often if we have more reviews, and we would love to do that. And check us out on YouTube because I have a lot of video content, including Full Stream Ahead, where I watch all the streaming movies forever and review every single one of them. Literally, it's insane. Forever. I had to watch 21 movies over the last 2 weeks because I put it off for too long.
He loves it. He loves it here.
I love it here. And I mean, not to guilt trip you, I'm putting a lot of work into these bad boys. I would appreciate it if you guys gave him some clicks.
He is safe and at home.
And also on Twitter, I am at Jepperpack. Adeline is at Hollaback Horse. They're both bad ats because if you just hear them, it's hard to tell how they're spelled.
Hold on. My at is amazing, and I will not take this slander. Hollaback Horse is maybe one of the best jokes I've ever made, and I will not accept this.
Jepperpack, like Pepper Jack, but backwards, and Holla Back Horse, like Holla Back Girl, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah.
And
Also follow the No Nerds Allowed Twitter.
yeah, and the No Nerds Allowed Twitter at No Nerds Pod. Okay, that's it, right? Anything else you
That's
wanna
it. I
you wanna
swear to
plug?
God. On Twitter, we talk about like what we're gonna do next, and sometimes there's funny goofs. Check it out; it's helpful because sometimes, like if a stream's gonna be like an hour late or a day late, or we're just telling you what we're doing, it's good to follow the Twitter because you'll
Right.
get those fast updates.
Oh, and next week is our first week with new permanent co-host Keisha Rhodes, who we are mad at currently.
For over Bewitched.
Yes, over Bewitched, and we're going to be talking about her favorite movie, RoboCop.
Bewitched.
So, not Bewitched. We're a Bewitched podcast now.
We only talk about Bewitched. Jackson, what are some of your Bewitched fan theories?
Honestly, I think I could do a like worst idea of all time style podcast where we watch Bewitched every week. I feel like there is some lush ground to cover.
We could do that.
We're not gonna do that. I'm just saying if we did, I think that would be something. Anyway.
Well, that's what we'll do for April Fool's Day. We'll just watch Bewitched again.
Yeah, maybe just every Halloween we watch Bewitched.
That's pretty good. I like that.
I think we should stick with that. Okay. We're committing to it now. Every Halloween from now on, we're doing Bewitched.
Until the end of time.
Yeah, that's all. So RoboCop next week with Keisha Rhodes. And, and the weeks after that, we're doing things like Cars with Dan the week after that. And Return of the Jedi with Ethan Goins again the week after that, if everything goes well, fingers crossed. And, we got exciting stuff coming up. And it'd be cool if you stuck around and, hung out with us. Okay, yes. And then that's the end, and then we'll go into whatever thing I actually said afterwards.
And then that was the end of the podcast. Okay, stop recording.
Okay, now I'm going to stop recording. Okay. Stream, thank you. We appreciate you guys. We like when you hang out with us. And now I'm going to kick you out of our house because the stream is over. Sorry.
Yeah, because I got Thai food, and I'm hungry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Okay, thank you guys. Goodbye. All right, it's over.